And shout out to Lagos, Nigeria. Y'all know.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lagos.
Shout out to Lagos.
And that's one thing about a dog. You can't fake a dog. You can't fake loving a dog, and you don't. A dog knows.
Yeah, dog knows.
Sense.
Yeah.
They can sense a cheater.
Yeah.
And so
Maybe I should get a dog.
You had a dog before.
Yeah, I used to have a dog. Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast today. If you're new to the channel, please click the subscribe and like button. We greatly appreciate it. Today we have our guest, Miss Assata from Detroit. She's here to tell us a little bit about her story, tell us a little bit about her passion, which is dogs. So we're going to talk a little bit about everything today.
Yeah.
my name is Assata, and I am from Detroit, Michigan. Hey, shout out for Detroit.
Hey.
So I guess our first question is, how long have you been in Africa, and what made you want to come to Africa in the first place?
So actually I've been on and off here in the continent. I first came in 2009, and my first stop was in Nigeria.
Okay.
And that's a long story, but and it wasn't intended. Actually, I was just supposed to do South Africa and Ghana, and I ended up in Nigeria. And shout out to Lagos, Nigeria. Y'all know.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lagos.
Shout out to Lagos.
Absolutely. And you know what they say in Lagos? They say if you can survive Lagos and or Nigeria, you can survive any place in the world. And that's true. And I survived.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nigeria. That's my home.
Shout out to Nigeria. Yeah.
So I first started there, and from there I headed over to Europe, and then back home. But after seeing Africa, after tasting Africa, it was no way in the world I could stay home. And I sat there in my front room. I remember crying, nobody understands here. Africa was so new to the US, and especially in my environment. And nobody understood. I had to get with other people who had traveled and get into different groups. And so, you were heard, and others could feel what, happened to you, and they knew. And they helped me a lot. And then so from there, talking about Africa, because I stayed in 4 other continents. But I went back to Africa, and I went to Ethiopia, Uganda, South Africa, and then up to Ghana.
Oh, wow.
And so, I left a nice trail everywhere I went.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. I lived with families, and the families were just wonderful to me, and stay in contact with them. I stay in contact mostly in Nigeria, but I'm in contact with all the families that I've stayed with throughout Africa.
Yeah.
And there was 2 countries I did come back to in Africa. One was Ghana, and the other one was Uganda. And I fell in love with Uganda. Yeah.
So how many times have you been to Uganda so far?
So this is my second trip.
The second trip.
Yeah, to Uganda. And
How are you finding it?
Well, it's changed since the last time I was here. And that's a good thing. we have to learn to change. It's changing. Some things are, and some things are staying the same. But my first trip, I was more tourism. But this trip, I'm steady and I'm comfortable, and I'm learning more about things here in Uganda. But I'm here because I fell in love with Uganda.
Like with the myth with Americans, I wouldn't say like everyone, because when you watch videos on internet and some people be like, if you want to teach your child manners or how poverty looks like, I will take you to Africa and all of that. What's the myth? Do you find Uganda like that, or as poor as people make it seem on the internet? How everyone presume like Africa is suffering, Africa is.
That's a good question. And it's hard for me to answer that because of my knowledge of Africa. First of all, I feel that it's the parents' problem is others' problems if they get their information from videos. It's their problem if they can't read, if they can't study, if they can't Google, and that's why we all have these cell phones in our hands. We're using them for other things than learning. You want to learn about a country, you want to learn about a people, you Google it and you read it instead of doing other things that does not give you the knowledge that you need. Or the truth about something. You find the truth out through scholar documents, through Google. You want to find out what's really going on. It's nice to watch videos, but you shouldn't just get your information from there. And when you're teaching your children, you should teach your children from a younger age, just to be good people. And when you teach your children from a young age to be a good person and to take, like we were talking earlier, take responsibility for what you do, then you don't have to worry about your child going off to the world and what they're going to see or what they're not going to see, because they've been taught about the world. And so, no, I would never, I know I did not raise my children that way. And they knew I was coming to Africa, and they were a lot older, but they were busy. They were too busy really to find out about my journeys. People are too busy, and so that's something you have to instill in children in the beginning. That you can't just believe everything you see and everything you hear, because you're not there. You don't know. And my first trip to Africa, I was older. I was mature. I was studied. So for me, it was just like, wow, look at this, First thing I saw was people that looked like me. I was like, hey, what's up, what's up? And it felt good, it was just such a wonderful feeling, every country that I went to here in Africa. It was just like, wow, so I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
So you said that Uganda and Nigeria are your two favorite.
Yes, I would say those are my two favorites out of 5 countries. Of course, I have a lot more to go. There's 54 countries here.
Yeah.
And so, let's see what happens.
Is there anything in particular that made you want to kind of just stay in Uganda for a while?
Let me tell you why. I fell in love with Uganda was because I had been in Ethiopia. Hey, Addis Ababa, you know what you did to me. So in Addis Ababa, it's just hot. I think I laid around, there for about 6 months, and it was hot. The dust was in the face, and it just, it was, I couldn't quite figure out what it was about Ethiopia. I really enjoyed myself. I learned a lot, dealt with the dogs there. But when that plane started landing in Uganda, I was like, oh my goodness, look at that. look at the greenery.
Oh, yeah, we see that
I
greenery
fell
for the
in
first
love.
time.
I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And so, that was how I fell in love with Uganda. It was just because, nothing but desert.
Right.
And so it was nice to see some greenery, and then when I learned about all the fruits and the vegetables and everything, and I saw them on the road as I was
Everything
leaving the
fresh.
airport, I was like, oh my goodness, look at this.
And the weather, how are you finding it?
Well, you know what? I love my vegetables. I love my fruits, and so eating, that's cool. I like that. The longer now that it's a different time from 2013. Now it's 2023, 2024 that I'm here, and so now I'm more inclined to learn about the people and their ways and the cultures. And so I'm learning about that, mixing it up with the food, and I'm learning, more patience, which is really hard for Americans.
Yeah.
He always says that.
You're working with patience.
He always says that.
Yeah. And so we have to learn that, and it's so it's I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I guess the food and everything is real good over here. That's one of the things that I noticed right off the bat when I came. And
He always
I
says
noticed the
everything is
greenery.
fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess tell us about, tell us a little bit about your passion for dogs. Like, how did all that get started?
Oh, wow. Well, like most Americans will say, oh, yeah, I had that kind of dog when I was a little kid. They're talking about the German Shepherd. And so in America, we were acclimated to the dog world because we lived among these folks. And so, so we had dogs growing up, the family. And so I've always been around dogs. But when I really began to identify with a dog is when my last child was leaving home, was leaving the nest, and she was going off to the university, and I was there alone with her dog. That was a birthday gift. And so now it was just Jade and I. And I depended on Jade, and Jade depended on me, and that started my real insights of a dog. And she taught me so much, and I say that with confidence that she taught me. And if you allow a dog patience that you yourself have to learn to have, that you will learn from a dog, because a dog has a lot to teach you. And you'll find that you'll find the relationship to be just a wonderful thing between you and dog.
So do you have a pet out here with you?
I have to use everybody else's pets. I use everybody else's pets. I use the stray dogs. I go and pet them. People turn around and say, hey, is that your dog? I'm like, no, it's just a dog walking down the street. But, because they sense me, They sense me. The stray dogs, they come to me. Unlike other people, they don't. But a dog can sense what's beneath your skin. They know whether you're a good person for them or a bad person for them. And dogs know. They just sense it, and so they gravitate to me.
In Uganda, we just run. If you say it's stray dog, you just...
Say that again?
In Uganda, we just run. Like, if you see a stray dog, that's why everyone is like, oh, is that your dog? And everything, because for us with dogs, unless it's a home thing, but you grow up not a dog thing.
Right.
Yeah, you just run.
Yeah, and actually, growing up with my grandparents, I was raised by my grandparents, there was 7 of us, and they didn't really care for dogs.
Yeah.
but they did allow us to have a dog. My brother
Oh.
have a dog, and so that was our dog.
Mm.
Dogs wasn't their thing either.
Mm.
But, as children, a dog becomes a child's companion.
Yeah.
And, it's better than the TV.
Yeah.
And the iPads and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you met any other dog lovers here that are local in
I
Uganda?
have.
Really?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I have, and that's a wonderful thing. And I'm looking for more because that's what I need. I need to be around, meet people who know about dogs, who care about dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing about a dog. You can't fake a dog. You can't fake loving a dog, and you don't.
Mm-hmm.
A dog knows.
Yeah,
They can sense a cheater.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
so
I should get a dog.
You had a dog before.
Yeah, I used to have a dog.
What kind of dog did you have?
I had a teacup chihuahua, which is about 5 pounds,
Sure.
and then I had a 70-pound pit bull.
Ooh, I love the pit bull.
Yeah, so it was kind of like an odd couple, and wherever we would go, people would stop and talk to, especially when I was walking them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a unique situation, but yeah, they were best of friends.
So that's what I was going to ask. They were best of friends because you brought them together,
Mhm.
and they knew what you expected, and of them, and yeah, and so that happens in the family, whether it's cats and dogs, whatever. But pit bulls I worked with a lot of pit bulls.
Yeah.
I love them.
Sweethearts.
Yeah, they are. Oh my goodness, they're so affectionate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you were, I guess that kind of leads us into our last part about trying to find, different companions or people with the same interests as you, like other dog lovers, or meet people maybe in your age range and you're just looking for, companionship, just people to talk to.
In Uganda.
Yeah, and preferably somebody who have time and can sit for. You said tea, but I like tea, but I like hibiscus tea.
Yeah, someone you can drink some hibiscus with.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And and people who just love dogs because they understand. You don't get that weird look or weird shake of the head when you mention dogs, in such an affectionate way, because they understand the life of a dog and they understand the companionship a dog has for people. And what they don't understand is that, dogs actually, if you're an older person and you're inclined, or even a younger person inclined to different medical elements like maybe stroke,
Yeah.
a dog can actually sense when your medicine isn't there and you need your medicine. They could save your lives. Dogs are very perceptive.
Yeah, they're so in tune with their owner. They know like their vital signs. They know if they're having an irregular heartbeat. They can tell if something's off with your body. That's how in tune dogs can become with their owners. I've seen that before. So
yes, thank you. And see, and when you're in tune with your dog is telling you something. And then the other thing is you have to learn to listen. You learn to listen. And why is he doing that? Oh, there's something going on. Usually you don't find out until afterward that that's what my dog was trying to tell me, but I didn't figure it out,
Right.
And so dogs teach us.
Okay.
As far as companions, it's nice to be able to meet someone in my age category that have been around the world or at least studied, and we can have tea over, and that would be fine.
Okay. Well, if there's anybody out there that's interested,
you have like an age
you can let
where
us
to
know.
start an age limit, like maybe between this and this.
I said my age, right, but I didn't say my age. You figure it out.
Yeah, you know if you
Maybe
fit the
it's
age range. Yeah.
You figure it out, okay?
Okay.
So like I said, if you're well studied, and if you're, you've at least been out around the world, or even around your own country, around your continent, usually it's some years, that's going to be attached to that.
Yeah.
And You know, I'm not looking for a teenager, that's for sure, to have company with.
Mm.
You know, that comes when you have grandchildren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, babe, did you have any other questions?
No, unless you if you have for us, it's also okay. But questions, but for now, in Uganda, if you're there and you want to have coffee,
Some hibiscus tea
some biscuits
with a little bit of honey.
Yeah.
with honey, yeah. Do you have a channel or one thing you can reach out?
No, not right now.
Okay.
Well, you can just reach out to us,
To
and then
us,
we'll get
yeah.
in. We'll get in contact with her, and
Yeah,
we'll link you guys up together if you want to meet.
yeah.
Yeah.
In case, how long are you going to be in Uganda?
Well, actually, I do have a channel. I don't know if I want anybody looking at it.
Okay.
No, but it is, it's just about me and my dog, and it's called The Village Storyteller, not but Village Storyteller. Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's who I am, and
Mm.
yeah. And so if you want to see an American wild and crazy, that'd be me.
We'll put it below if you're comfortable. You can put it below the video.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure, that's great.
yeah.
All right,
So,
guys. Well, that's gonna do it for us today. Please tune in next time. We'll have another great podcast for you. And please, if you haven't subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button and please hit the like button. Until then, next time.
We'll see you
Peace.
next time. Peace.